Today we're going to learn how to create a shadow text effect in Canva just like this, and I'm going to show you 3 examples of how I use it in designs that I create. Let's get started. In this Canva quick tip, we are going to explore the shadow text effect in Canva. Once we have our text, we just simply click on it and then we click Effects in the menu. Over here, we're going to select Shadow. So as you can see, it automatically drops down the shadow and it's offset 50, direction -45, blur 0, transparency 40. So the offset is how far away from the actual text it is. So the further back we move it, like we go back here, it's completely hidden. And the higher the number, the further away it gets from the text, all the way up to 100. So it depends on what look you're going for. So around here, it's pretty good. The direction, now this moves it around depending on where you want the shadow to be. So whether you want it to be rising up or going down or to the side, whatever kind of look you're going for. Now the blur, you can see how it's just a solid color, and the higher up the blur we go, you can see how it's starting to blur and fade into the background. So we go that, and it's a little bit hard to see because it is very, very dark. Let's see if we can find like a bright pink. You can see how the blur makes it kind of just stand out. Right, so we're going to reset that and bring the blur back. Now the transparency is, as you can see right here in this color, it's black, but behind here it looks gray, and that's because the transparency is down. But the further up we go, you can see the darker it gets. So if we were to change that to this pink, for example, that's really light, and we take it up until it's a solid color. Okay, or we can take it all the way down until you can barely see it. So it really depends on what you're going for. If we go to none and we take it back to the shadow, it just resets all these back to where it was. Now, showed you quickly here, this box here shows you the color. Now, whatever color this is, so if we go to effects, none, and we choose, let's do this pink. If we now go to shadow, that color is going to be the same as this color. But if we want to change it to say brown, we do that, and we can up the transparency, or then we can add a blur, and it can create all different kind of effects depending on what we want. Right? And it is also going to depend on the background color. You know, if you have black, for example, in the background color, the darker colors aren't going to show. So we want to go a little bit lighter, like this. And then all of a sudden it starts to glow and have a completely different effect. I'm going to show you on some examples of how I use them. Now here's a flyer, a sip and shop. As you can see here, you've got the transparency. This is just black, so it's a white text with a black background. It's white and grey. It's really subtle, but it's there. This one you can see we've got the white text. Now we've got the grey background. So if you were to click on this, it's got a white text, like a white background, and the transparency is down, so it looks like it's grey on there. So it stands out slightly, but not too much. Or, as you can see on this one, we've got one colour here, which is this light colour, and then because this client's 2 colours were the 2 different blues, so when I did the drop shadow, I used the second blue, and it just gives it that little bit of pop and brings all the colours in together. There are lots of different ways you can use this effect. It really just comes down to your imagination and just have a play with it. Now we have more videos on all these different text effects coming up, so you just click to the video next to this one and we'll keep going.